I'm an honest person, and it really grinds my gears when I see the scammers, the schemers, the finessers having a good old time, having all the success they want, while us honest, hardworking people suffer day in, day out. And today, I've just found out about a whole bunch of scams that are going on. 2026, it might just be the year of the scam. And if you haven't got a heart, you know what I'm saying? If you haven't got a conscience, it might be your year to run it up. Okay, you might have seen, I did a video a few months ago called the Klarna Infinite Money Glitch, where people were basically working out that you could finesse it to use Klarna. You could potentially, I mean, it's fraud at the end of the day, but you could basically use Klarna to get whatever goods that you wanted. You could go to the Apple store, you could get racks of Apple products. All you needed, all right, was a fresh account. Well, now there's some pretty diabolical scams that are going on, all right, and look, I'm just going to expose them in this video. I want to make it very clear before we get into it. Okay? I'm not condoning the use of any of these scams, these methods. Everything I'm going to show you in this video is illegal. And if you do this stuff, all right, you might just be facing swift justice from the law. But considering how the universe works, it seems like it's only the honest, hardworking people that get punished. All the scammers and finessers and the PPP loaners, they always seem to get away with it. Okay, so I'm going to show you the new methods that these diabolical schemesters are pulling in 2026. And if you're an honest person like me, this is going to make your blood boil. Okay, look at this. Okay, I just saw this a minute ago. Right, I'm losing it. So people are now, they've graduated beyond the Klarna Infinite Money Glitch, basically doing fraud to get Klarna loans in other people's names, and you get away with the products before anyone can get you caught out. Now, scammers are basically using, you know, similar sized and similar weighted objects in the supermarket to basically steal and scam and scan products that are way too expensive, all right, way beyond their pay grade. Look at this. Look at that. It fits perfectly. What a joke. Now, this is illegal. I just want to make it very clear. This is theft. It's a crime. All right? But look, hey, they just make it away. Okay?
All right, thank you.
Crazy. And it works for all these different products. Swapping method for the new free controller. He's swapping it out. He's about to put his broken-ass controller back in there. This is diabolical.
Just gotta return those.
Crazy.
No, I just didn't like it.
I just didn't like the controller. Now this is fraud. This is illegal, but this is how people are running it up. A whole Nintendo Switch. Remove Switch. Remove all the goods. Put in some BS. This is insane.
Return. Hey. Oh my god, no way. Free Switch.
So look, this is just the tip of the iceberg for the 2026 scams that are going on, okay? There's a whole bunch of new moves that are being done, okay? So this is the latest other scam that's going on. Corrupt airport workers are apparently now swapping baggage tags to basically turn innocent travelers into unwitting drug mules. This is the new method to make the pack land, people. I don't condone it.
There are 4,000
but this is what's happening.
cameras at Pearson Airport. And as you mentioned, 16 of the cases happened at Pearson. But those cameras are not always monitored, and there are blind spots. And all it takes is for one corrupt baggage handler or ramp handler to unstick this off your luggage and put it onto a bag full of drugs. Now that bag full of drugs is traveling to the same destination as you. And if it makes it, there are usually air tags in the luggage of drugs. Somebody on the other end is going to pick it up and take it. Your bag, which now doesn't have a tag, is either popped onto the plane tagless, or what they do is they put a rush tag on, and so, which is what they put on if your bag gets lost or damaged.
Right.
And your bag makes it, so you may never know. We've identified 17 cases. We have no idea how many Canadians may have been traveling with their tag attached to drugs, and they don't even know it. They get to the other end, they see a rush tag on it, they see no tag on it.
Yeah.
Or in some cases that we've identified, what happens is they actually snip the tag. So you have a tag that has the code on it, but the drug bag has the other half. So if you get caught, you have to now explain, well, that's not my bag.
Well, I want to play for everybody a clip of Nicole. This is one of those people who got caught in the middle of this scheme. Have a listen. And they brought out the bolt cutters and they cut the lock off and they opened up the bag. It was stuffed full of drugs.
At that point, Avery, what do you do?
Well, she had 20.50 kilos of meth.
Wow.
In this bag that was not hers. She was on a flight from Toronto to Auckland, New Zealand. Luckily, the drugs were found in Vancouver, so she was dealing with it there. We've identified cases of people who have been trapped in places like the Dominican Republic. 3 Canadians trapped for months trying to prove that that bag was not theirs.
Unbelievable. What's the RCMP response to this? Because we're dealing with drugs here and trafficking.
So the RCMP are making these arrests. They're frustrated because they're now having to convince other countries that Canadians are not guilty of smuggling drugs. Often what they'll use is surveillance camera from the airports to prove the bags that somebody came in on. I will say there are some very easy tips for what you can do to protect yourself when you travel. And this is what I do now.
Okay, tell us what you do now.
This is what I do now. When you go to the airport, you take a picture of you with your bag, preferably on the scale to show the weight of your bag. Because you have to think, if they're switching the tags, what if they put something in your bag?
I see.
And that's even harder to do. So, and luggage trackers, because
So now they're going to use you as a drug mule, okay? These are the international scams, all right? The international pack landers. Now they don't need to convince someone to be a drug mule or take that risk. They're just going to use you. They're just going to take your tag. They're going to put it on a bag full of dope, and they're going to hope that it lands. But there's other scams. There's other schemes, all right? You won't believe the depths that some of these schemes reach, okay? More crazy 2026 scams that are going around. Apparently, now Lyft drivers are using Gemini AI to generate fake interior damage photos so that they can pocket fees from riders who didn't actually cause any damage. Look at this.
Saturday afternoon, Burt Gore says he had just returned home in Boca Raton after taking his son to the ER when he got this fraud alert from his bank, a $75 damage fee from Lyft. Gore declined the charge.
So then I'm thinking to myself, what could possibly have gone on here? So I reach out to my girls. I have a 14 and 15-year-old that had been to the beach earlier. And so I'm like, hey, did you guys take Lyft today? And they're like, yeah.
But Gore's daughter said they didn't leave a mess in the Lyft, contrary to what a Lyft customer service rep told Gore via chat.
They didn't have food or drinks in the car. These girls were coming back from, the beach. They were in their towels coming back from the beach. And they said, well, we verify everything with the drivers, and the driver, sent us pictures. And I said, well, I asked them, I said, to send me the pictures.
These are the pictures Lyft told Gore the driver provided them with, showing evidence of the damage, but he says his daughter pointed out a glaring issue.
She goes, Dad, that's AI. You could see the Gemini logo on the bottom right-hand side of one of the photos. And I'm like, oh my God, you're right. So I tell them, I said, hey, matter of fact, I said, these photos are AI generated.
Gemini AI is Google's artificial intelligence assistant and can generate images and videos. Gore says the Lyft rep agreed that the images were created using AI, apologized, and blocked the driver from their app.
Blocking the driver, I don't know how you can have a driver that's doing this to your customers, even driving for you. It just doesn't make any sense.
Gore said he posted his story on a Boca community Facebook page, getting several responses from other people who have had similar experiences. Now he just wants to raise awareness so it doesn't happen to someone else.
So you got to look out, right? These Lyft drivers be scamming too, but they're not the only ones. There is another diabolical scam going around that's affecting people all over America and beyond. And this one, all right, it says, if you've ever received a creepy, completely empty envelope in the mail, this clip is going to explain the brushing scam. And the idea is to basically steal your data so that they can fake online reviews. Look at this. It's crazy.
So these are the first 5 packages.
Candy Crady says the white envelopes started arriving about a week ago. Did you order any of this?
We did not order anything.
Sometimes several all at once. And what's in there?
There's nothing in there. It's just empty.
And they just keep coming.
It was just stuffed in there.
And this is just tissue paper? No, it's like another plastic bag. And Crady wasn't sure why.
My package was empty.
Until she saw others.
The first package had a trash of paper.
Describing the exact same thing happening to them on TikTok.
It's not even sealed. There's nothing in it.
According to the Better Business Bureau's National Scam Tracker, in the last nearly 3 weeks, hundreds and hundreds of people across the country have reported getting the same sort of mysterious envelopes from, we found, an address in New York that doesn't exist, and supposedly from a man, Dave with 2 V's, Garzaz, who does not appear to exist either.
Dave Garzas? And who is Dave Garzas?
So I'm disappointed in you, Dave Garza.
And we call it a brushing scam.
Robin Householder, head of the Middle Tennessee BBB, says it's all about using your information to boost someone else's ratings online.
You know, the internet is a really wonderful tool, but it's also a very frightening tool because it does give scammers so much information about us.
So here's how it works. When you receive a package, you become what's known as a verified buyer on online platforms like Amazon, Walmart, and eBay. And the sender, usually an international third party, can then use your verified buyer information to post fake positive online reviews using your name. These fake reviews are supposed to help boost or inflate the product's ratings and sales numbers, which the sellers hope can then lead to actual sales and higher visibility on these e-commerce sites. If this sounds familiar, it's the same thing as all those envelopes of mysterious seeds that people got in the mail back in 2020. This time around,
There's nothing in there at all.
in most cases, the packages are empty, though some people have reported getting hair clips or hair ties.
And you got something too?
I did. I got 12 baseballs.
The good news is, if you do get something like baseballs, you can keep it. The bad news, though, is even if you get an empty envelope, it likely means your personal information and data has been compromised.
So they're sending out thousands of letters and parcels with nothing in it to try and finesse systems into having better reviews for products, hoping that they can sell more of them. Okay, this is a very confusing, a very complicated scam. Okay, people are finding it very, very confusing, very strange. They're not trusting it. They're glad it's not anthrax. Okay, it is very, very bizarre. So there's another story. Okay. And, you know, this basically is a real heartbreaking situation of another scam. This woman apparently lost her entire life savings to a fake remote job that she genuinely thought she had landed with the billion-dollar social media corporation Meta. This is really sad. See this, it says Bay Area woman loses $176,000 after accepting remote job she thought was with Facebook. Man, it is sad.
Dawn Furseth says she lost everything she's worked for within a mere month and a half.
How much money did you lose?
$176,000.
Oof. Savage.
Yeah. But $176,000.
Crazy.
Yeah. But learned a lesson for sure, and that's why I wanted to share it.
The 60-year-old Brentwood resident just finished a contract working for a Bay Area software company. This past October, she started searching for new opportunities.
You know, you get these emails that say, hey, we've got part-time job for you, remote situation. In the situation I was in, it sounded like, okay, let me try it.
Dawn says a woman named Lily told her this job was with Facebook's ad management center, explaining she would be placing ads at the platform as they're testing AI.
It's kind of in a beta state right now. So all the software buzzwords that my career was in software. So it seemed legitimate. And I thought, okay.
According to Dawn, she was paired with a training mentor who was coaching her during the onboarding process. But aside from one call, only communicated with her on WhatsApp.
So I had to take money from my bank via wire transfer into a crypto platform and then transfer that into the Facebook platform. And it sat there in a little digital wallet that I would then pull from to place the ads.
Dawn
I feel so bad for this woman, man. How is she working in software all of her life, though, and she not realizing this is a scam, man? What the hell?
Says that should have raised a red flag at the time.
So when you logged onto this app, it had your actual Facebook messages in it?
Yes.
Every single message?
It looked totally like it. It's the same icon, logged in with the same credentials as my normal personal Facebook. It was all the same.
She thought it was legit. In the weeks that followed, Dawn says she placed a slew of Facebook ads, and her account showed huge profits. At 6 weeks, she had one final ad to place before cashing in.
They tricked me. All I wanted to do was pull out $400,000.
Oh, I feel awful, man. She talking about all I wanted to do was pull out 400K. I'd come up. I just wanted to cash out. She'd put in 176,000. She thinks she coming up. She said, I could see my money was there. Your money's gone.
And I had a lot more in the wallet than that. They said, oh, you didn't do it right. You were supposed to pull everything.
Dawn says the scammers posed as Facebook's customer service.
You didn't do it. You didn't do it. I feel so bad. I feel so bad. They should just legalize, like, if you go and smoke someone who did this to you, it should just be legal.
Threatening to freeze all her money until she pays a 20% penalty.
Well, I didn't have anything left. And this mentor started getting really personal. The fur on the back of my neck stood up. Sorry.
$176,000 of her savings gone. Dawn says her so-called mentor then suggested she sell her car and all her physical belongings at a pawn shop to try and unfreeze her account. The messages keep coming, just haunting her.
It still is.
7 on Your Side worked directly with Meta on this case. Upon review of further documentation, Meta removed the fraudulent WhatsApp accounts that targeted Dawn. According to a WhatsApp article, the company says, we work diligently to reduce any spam or unwanted messages that might be sent on WhatsApp.
The fact they did this on WhatsApp makes me feel like Meta should break her off some cash, man. That is crazy. But look, okay, there's more scams, all right? You know, she might be a little bit dumb for falling victim to such a ridiculous scam. But, okay, there is kind of more sophisticated stuff that it's, you know, it's hard for you to even realize that you're getting scammed. Because thieves are actually now using what's called ghost tapping proximity technology. And basically, they're wirelessly pickpocketing your credit cards without ever even touching your wallet. That's what they're doing now.
These days, money moves in modern ways. A tap here, a tap there. It's speedy. It's easy, but that ease can also make it easier for criminals to cash in.
We're seeing these ghost tapping scams appear more and more, I believe, because we're all using this feature of this tap to pay. It's very convenient.
Jerry Mendebert with the Better Business Bureau explained the latest fraud fad, ghost tapping, a proximity-based scam that uses that same tap to pay technology to steal money from a card or phone, even if it never left your pocket.
In one case, the consumer reports losing hundreds of dollars, but this other one, they claim they lost nearly $15,000.
Jerry said in most cases, it's a transaction you agree to make, often a street vendor or maybe someone going door to door, where you may not be able to see how much you're being charged like you would at a regular store.
You're kind of trusting that person to put in the correct amount, the amount that they promise that they're going to charge you.
But perhaps the scariest type, a criminal armed with a cheap device that just walks close to someone and initiates a payment without the victim even realizing they were hit.
An attacker doesn't even have to have it out. They can simply just bump against your wallet, just automatically steal the information through essentially a wireless radio frequency.
James Chatwani, a cybersecurity advisor for GuidePoint Security, says it's like pickpocketing with a modern twist. Their insights show ghost tapping claims have surged 150% over the past year.
Really, everybody is at risk here.
Not something Deontay Vance likes to hear.
I don't like that. That sounds horrifying. A lot of scam artists could easily do that.
So how can you protect yourself? We tested a few different options. First, an RFID blocking card costing about $1 a piece. Slip it into your wallet and it's supposed to protect the entire wallet. That one didn't work for us, but this 25-cent sleeve that wraps around the card did. But you have to pull it in and out of the sleeve every time. This $6 pouch also worked. Put your phone and cards inside and no signal goes out. Problem is, it also prevents your phone from working. And finally, our most expensive option, a $20 signal blocking wallet phone case combo. It worked. So for convenience, go for the case. For the cost, the sleeves.
Bro, digital pickpocketing, bro. They've only got to brush past you. They've only got to brush past you. Okay, so look, the last crazy scam that I'm going to show you, and there's a lot more, but these were just some of the craziest ones that I found for this video, okay? The FBI have been revealing that apparently now everyday spam texts, okay, the spam scam texts that you get to your phone, These are actually apparently run by heavily armed human trafficking rings run overseas. And you think it's a little harmless text scam, but these are some of the most evil, demonic people in the entire world out here scamming you.
Yeah, it was bad.
Some are vague, like this one from the so-called e-crime analysis desk, or this one that simply says $387 has been successfully debited with a link if you have concerns. Others, however, might be more convincing, like an urgent notice of a supposed transaction on Apple Pay, or this one supposedly from Apple Security, or a supposed pre-authorization of $952 to Apple Pay.
So these things originate in Southeast Asia, in places like Laos and Cambodia, where governments are literally subsidized by scam compounds. And when I say scam compounds, I'm talking about organized cities.
Christopher Delzato, special agent in charge of the Las Vegas FBI office, says many of the people on these so-called scam farms, like the one in this United Nations video, are subject to forced labor.
They induce people with lies about high-paying jobs to come and work there, and basically they're enslaved to work on the keyboard, targeting victims all over the world.
Delzato says the structures are guarded by armed individuals, and the scams make up a large number of the complaints to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center. Because they're overseas, bringing scammers to justice is difficult, but not impossible. U.S. authorities have made about 200 arrests and broken up more than a dozen operations in recent years. And
more recently, within the last couple of weeks, our San Diego field office, along with multiple local, state, and federal agencies, facilitated over 275 arrests of folks that were facilitating the scam compounds.
So they got whole compounds. And they are enslaving the scammers, all right? So it's just so sad to even realize that, like, not only are the people getting scammed, you know, devastated, completely cheated out of their hard-earned savings, but apparently the people being, the people that are running the scams, doing the scams, they're allegedly being human trafficked and enslaved into servitude to these criminals. I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to hurt any innocent people, but if we could just blow up some of just a cheeky little, just one missile strike on some of these scam headquarters, just to teach them a lesson, just to, you know what I'm saying, just to make the block hot. I don't know if it'd be such a bad thing. But look, these are some of the most diabolical scams of 2026. If you enjoyed this video, let me know down below. Make sure you support this video, and I'll do some more scams. I could dig deeper into some of the scams from this video, or I could find you more. There is a lot, right? As I'm learning about these ones, I'm seeing more and more and more of my recommendations. It's 2026, it's the year of the scam, all right? And we got to make it stop. We got to stop these fools, all right? But anyway, if you found that useful, let me know. If not, then screw you, all right? I'll see you in the next video. It is what it is. All right, peace.